Tony Clark went public in Tempe, and he just laid it all out for everybody to know. The union has ripped Arte Moreno's ownership of the Angels. He says Arte Moreno has treated the luxury tax as his own personal salary cap. He says he's failing to put the best product on the field in the most unique market. He's referencing all of Southern California, that the Angels are really more than just Orange County's team because they want to be known as the Angels of Los Angeles. It's the LA market at the same time. He said, do you understand that Arte Moreno, since he took over ownership of this team, has paid the luxury tax one time in 20 years? He says they're in the number 2 market in the country, and they're not putting a quality product on the field, even though they're in the number 2 market in the nation. He says, do you understand that this ownership group has not won a postseason game since 2009? And he says, as of this morning, their payroll's at $202 million. The luxury tax doesn't kick into $241 million. You've got all this money and you haven't spent it all. Arte Moreno really took a broadside from Tony Clark, head of the Players Association. What he said was true. Virtually everything that came out of Tony Clark's mouth was true. Most of the, I think, fans in Orange County believe the same thing. Your reaction?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He's not wrong. But, imagine if you're in New York and, you got the high spending Yankees and the Mets only spent $200 million. I mean, granted, it's a ton of money, but you would expect in those top markets that they've got all these additional revenue streams. I mean, why aren't the Angels getting some kind of a TV package on par or close to on par with the Dodgers?
Because they're Angels and they haven't done anything. They've won one World Series under Disney. The Angels have given their fans a decade worth of really lousy baseball. The owner is gun shy because the owner has spent a ton of money. Tony Clark neglected to say, well, he did spend money and got burned badly by Josh Hamilton. He did spend money, and some of these other acquisitions didn't pan out, a.k.a. Anthony Rendon or Justin Upton, these other guys. So, I mean, Tony Clark forgot some of the other things that Arte Moreno has attempted to do, but Moreno really has been burned in free agency. But that being said, you're in the number 2 market in the country, or you're telling everybody you're in the number 2 market in the country. You're in Orange County, which could be a great, vibrant market just unto itself. You got to do more. And the fact that the payroll's only 202 and the tax doesn't kick in until 241, that means there's still more money there. But Arte Moreno's losing money. That's a byproduct of how bad the product's been. And by the way, he owns the product, so I put it at his front door. That was really interesting, though, for Tony Clark to say that. Now, I want Tony Clark to make a trip to Miami. I want him to say the same damn thing about Bruce Sherman, the nickel and dime owner of the Miami Marlins. You can go to Tampa Bay and do the same thing with Sternberg. And while you're at it, since you're on the East Coast, go to Pittsburgh and go after their ownership with the Pirates. There is no bloody reason anybody in baseball should be allowed to operate with payrolls of $57 million, $63 million, $78 million. That's what a whole bunch of these teams that I just named are operating under. Not the Angels, but operating with less than $100 million. There's 6 franchises under $100 million payroll. And the disparity between Miami, which at last report was $57 million, and the Dodgers at $383. How is that good for baseball, John, to have that type of disparity? So Clark, he fired scuds into the Angels ownership suite. He needs to do the same thing in Miami and Tampa, Pittsburgh, Sacramento Athletics, whatever the hell they're called. That's what he's got to do. He's got to do it for everybody. Put the pressure on everybody.
Whatever the hell they're called. Yeah. He's right. I mean, he's absolutely right. And I'm thinking, okay, New York, huge market, 2 teams. LA, huge market, 2 teams, obvious disparity. Angels aren't spending. What's going on in Chicago? Are the Cubs and the White Sox, are they exceeding the salary cap or the luxury tax?
The Cubs are close to luxury tax, and the White Sox are one of the bottom feeders. White Sox, last I counted, I think the White Sox had signed 28 off-season free agents. That's a wide variety of fringe players, minor leaguers. I mean, no marquee names. Mm-hmm. White Sox have only one quality player left, and that's Luis Robert, the outfielder. And they've tried to trade him, and he's been hurt so much, they've not let him go. But that that's a crisis unto itself. That's mismanagement by Jerry Reinsdorf and all of his wide variety of presidents and general managers that he's kind of run through the old Comiskey Park. So they got problems. Baseball's bottom tiered franchises have problems, and the union just can't stand there and represent Juan Soto. The union's got to represent the 25-man roster of the Miami Marlins or the Pittsburgh Pirates or as you say, that's a great point you make, the Chicago White Sox, or as I call them, the Chicago Blight Sox. There's a real disparity problem. Okay, that's baseball.
Well, hold on, one more thing about the Angels, because you were saying, oh, this could be a market into itself, Orange County, all that.
Bounce back season, too.
And there's a chance there. Now, do you think the team has greater appeal to a fan base if it's the Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Angels, or the California Angels?
If it were me, I'd go back to what they used to be. California Angels sounds fine to me.
Yeah, I agree.
But the greater appeal is put a better bloody product on the field that doesn't lose 99 games, where you got all these guys making all this mega money that don't seem to care, and your farm system has not been able to produce very much. They got to solve the baseball problem, not the imagery marketing problem. If you wish to call it the California Angels, as it was during the Autry era, that'd be fine with me. But the problem is not the nickname or the logo or the color of the uniforms. The problem is the makeup of the roster.
Yeah, I hear you. You're right. They got to make some changes.
Damn right. I'm the host of the podcast. Thank you.
Yes, you are.
You're a Dodger, Padre, Angel fan. We've given you some fodder. Now we want you to respond into the Fans Forum chat box. Jump in line. Have an opinion. Have a take that doesn't suck. Ask a question. Be glad to give you an answer. And John will be glad to argue with it because it's his day to argue with the people he doesn't agree with. The Fans Forum chat box is open.